nyo totrono ko be ashie ma boro ku do ko didi ho sese enu ye fu mana ba do asa ko ya ho agalagi e de ko lo duji cha o ma de ko va galo do me ni fu mana gbe ra ho nya fa mo kula do ba
The aftermath of a devastating disaster has left its mark on many communities downstream the Akosombo Dam. Here, amidst the tranquility of nature, the people are grappling with a tragedy that may alter their lives forever. The Volta River Authority, VRA, was forced to spill water from the Akosombo Dam, Ghana's biggest hydroelectric plant. The event was triggered by climate change effects, culminating in rising water levels upstream and relentless heavy rainfall. The ensuing catastrophe has caused a profound humanitarian and economic crisis. The impact has been felt deeply across the communities encircling the Volta Lake, where over 80,000 people, men, women, and children alike, are now struggling for survival. Once thriving businesses, farms, homes, and properties worth tens of millions of dollars have been swept away in the relentless floodwaters. Fishermen who depended on the bounties of the lake for their sustenance have watched helplessly as their cages are swept away by the flood. For these individuals, the waters that were their source of livelihood have turned into an unforgiving force of destruction.
About 2 weeks ago, our home was besieged by flood water. We were told to pack out to so-called safe havens in classrooms. Our belongings were destroyed. We lost our homes, so we are now putting up in classrooms. I was helped to this place. We were able to gather a few things, but our animals and farms have been ravaged by the flood. Mosquitoes are troubling us here. I had not been well before the disaster. I couldn't see or walk properly. I have not been to the hospital for a checkup for a while now. My wife left me with our child when I fell ill, but has brought the child back to me. I now live with my parents and siblings with their children in the same house. We've lost our source of drinking water and have been at the mercy of mosquitoes. The water we drink and bath with have been contaminated with strange scent. The flood took us by surprise. From around 8 a.m. when we had the information that the flood was coming, by 9 a.m., we were already submerged. We began to pack our belongings to the safe haven, but even before we could cross over to the other side, the flood was at neck levels. So we lost a lot of our belongings in the water. Even my clothes and that of the children got lost in the water when we were crossing to the dry place. My problem is that I am a shy person and I don't know how to squabble for survival. I have not seen this before. Many of the displaced persons are encountering such devastation for the first time and are ill-prepared for its aftermath. Like this distressed lady, many lives have been torn apart and recovery may become elusive for them. Even people who were not directly affected do come here to scramble over the food items brought to us. Our home has collapsed and our utensils are washed into the flood. There's only a single room left there for me and all my children and grandchildren. Our only luck is that the room I sleep in, a single room, is still standing. Maybe that is where all of us would sleep when the water recedes. We don't know what is going to happen after the water recedes. We are all going to put up in this small room. I am not very well now and won't be able to raise funds to rebuild a place for us to sleep. I need help. Where we would sleep after the water recedes has become my worry. We met Romeo, a member of the Mepe Development Association. He took us around the scene of devastation in the once bustling town.
So what you see, this is really in the middle of the town. We're a bit far from the riverbed. What happened was that when the water river overflowed in banks, everything was going in ferries and creeks that are in town. So when you look at the Nouvelle Method Road, it's been cut off completely because the water river, by its show of force and strength, they overflowed the banks and cut across the road completely. And the river that cut across the road is what is actually connected in this low-lying area. This is my hometown. I had my kindergarten, junior high school, the primary education here. So I have a root. This is where I was raised. This is where I was brought up. So it's a lot of emotional connections attached. It is what it is. It has been avoided. If that had happened, we hope that maybe though the relief efforts are coming in the short term, the state to put in place a holistic plan. Let me research also with the people here. We say this is a fault of anyone. Well, it's definitely obviously a creation of the DRA. It's not a force myself. We knew what was going to happen. So if there was a proper system that made in place, because that's really not a week and a half. We didn't see the support like that. We didn't engage the personal authority. The method of legislation was not engaged. Some key civil we were left on our own. We had to do everything on our own until they came in. So it's a pity. We would have wished the response time from the state would have been much less shifted up because the state was aware of this.
And no job.
The flood occurred on the same day. Some of the people did not know what to do. We, the young men who could swim, were called to the rescue. We helped to bring some of their valuables. It all happened within an hour. The entire town was flooded. People have lost valuables. We couldn't help everyone, as we were overwhelmed by events. Even though the water is receding, people still have their valuables in their rooms, but we've been told not to enter the water anymore, because it has become itchy due to the contamination. I was operating my commercial motorbike business in the nearby village when I was called and asked to help the displaced. By the time we came in, a lot had happened, the town was underwater, and so we couldn't take so much out for the people. Fortunately, nobody drowned. People lost their valuables, and some of the women were crying for their loss. According to Fraser, the relief items were insufficient, and their distribution was riddled with discrimination by officials of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO. Meanwhile, when the relief items started coming in, some were discriminated against as the NADMO officials were giving the items to only the people who were dwelling at the safe havens. Women and children were kept together at the same place. We need the government's assistance to help life return to normal. When the water recedes, people are going to struggle with where to sleep unless they are assisted with some accommodation. The NADMO officials have been asking us not to get into the water as it is contaminated, but we could not stand by and watch as people lose their properties, so we had to help. This thing has never happened this way before. We were told it happened in 1963, but it was slowly, not with the speed that it took this time around. As we delve deeper into the heart of the disaster, we witness the extent of the destruction. In Sogakorpe, this is the main electricity substation. Now it is half submerged. The devastation spread beyond the immediate communities along the Volta Dam to as far as settlements close the Ketar Lagoon, which also overflowed its banks partly because the nearby tributaries could not find their way into the Volta. This used to be the bustling market in Arnlogar. Now, half of the market stalls have been swallowed by the Volta. The home of this devastated resident is completely unlivable. The flood waters and snakes have taken over. Entire communities are submerged, essential services crippled, and hope is fading like the receding waters. According to the Deputy Director General of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, his organization is not overwhelmed and were adequately prepared, referencing simulations done in partnership with American organizations to anticipate such an emergency. In the face of this catastrophe, the people looked to their government for swift aid and support. However, the response was agonizingly slow, and when it came, it was accompanied with scorn from President Akufo-Addo.
If it's a question of counting who votes for me and who doesn't vote for me, I shouldn't be here, because you don't vote for me.
President Akufo-Addo's visit, meant to bring solace, turned into a bitter political discourse. His words, instead of offering comfort, stoked the partisan political lenses that such disasters are viewed with. His reference to the people's political leaning only deepened the wounds of a community already in pain.
Of my sources in the military, and they say that it appears that NADMO is saying that the bills are going up and they have not been given money from government to pay. But you see, it's about human lives. Yeah, human lives. The water levels have not receded. And you are now going to lead my people to just manage with this, ramshackle boats that are leaking because, a lot of the boats have been swept away by the floodwaters. So the ships are not really in good shape.
Over 80,000 people were reportedly affected and more than 31,000 displaced. The poultry relief items provided are a stark reminder of the challenges faced by the people of Volta. But this is just a fraction of the story.
Kotokwa mandra molit no afia bli kotokwa malba la steelfish sack fried omer pack omer that vawo padre na steelfish down mawenya nim amene will affected which over la biafa bawaji amatistic height you can be check this when the group Naka Amadobo de after one more afternoon go out the Lover and was sham well. Out the cat. I'm thank you for a water. I can't be assemblyman with that. I want you to know what I thought about Paul so this and girl were wedded. It does, I mean. Open the people and I can't have them not at that. Naturally, imagine as you were going to give you you want more water to come on your girl. Did you want to put a now in? No, about for product order the Pune. Just figure on the other from there. I felt so. All part all manner the girl select partner. No, none of us got it. I went burn high. That's the young girls. Oh, the charitable. Well, no resource happens. Yeah, tough because it is an unfolding situation and we don't know how when it is going to. So as some stockpile items and distribute, you need to mention them as it comes. Government have provided resources and attending to the people, but probably to live in Laos. Even religious bodies are also coming in to assist. The Ghanaians speak it already. People are coming in and assisting. Some going through our structures, and some are also out there in the communities. I know the member of parliament and other political artists are also doing something to help them. Well, for any item that comes to our structures, house will start getting distribution because we are working with assembly members, NADMO, the directors, and NADMO staff at the zonal level. And our disaster management goal that has all the kinds of agencies in the district.
Obviously, the affected residents think otherwise. The relief items barely scratch the surface of their predicament. But did these state institutions really prepare the people adequately to minimize damages to businesses and properties? If the spillage was in the control of the Volta River Authority, VRA, how much time did they give residents to evacuate and protect their properties? In a technology-savvy age, where information travels at the speed of light, the question arises, Why did crucial alerts depend predominantly on word of mouth? Emergency alerts on mobile phones can give timely warnings and guidelines that could have mitigated some of the impact. The missed opportunity raises critical questions about preparedness and disaster response in the country.
The way the thing happened, nobody was prepared for it. And so we had to leave our air conditioning and all those other electrical gadgets in the water. They've been submerged until yesterday. Who would have expected that there should have been sufficient notification? This certainly didn't happen. It was an overnight thing. And we are human beings. There have been instances when water level would rise, but it didn't come to our houses. So the issue of evacuation becomes something that is treated literally with some contempt. Generally, VRA has not done what was expected, because their conduct virtually borders on criminal negligence.
Yet, amidst the despair, the spirit of the people remains unbroken. Communities are coming together, helping one another, and rebuilding what was lost. The resilience of the people shines through, reminding us that hope prevails even in the face of adversity. The disaster has revealed an incredible level of solidarity among the people, politicians, local and international organizations. Some fortunate ones have even offered their homes to the displaced as temporary shelters. Over 80,000 people have been affected, and the community are counting more than 40,000 total number of people displaced. How are relief items from corporate organizations, NGOs, international organizations, the government of Ghana, and individuals being accounted for?
Behave like we used to do. When our properties, our investment opportunities, our source of livelihood is destroyed by VRA, we just fold our arms.
To begin counting cost, we can start with Golden Exotic Limited, Ghana's largest banana exporter. The company claims it has lost almost $1 million and 45 hectares of its banana plantation.
In other jurisdictions, they could charge them for instance, under the Children's Act. What has happened now? The amount to expose children to danger. You understand? And on a larger scale, they could charge, but that is not part of our jurisprudence here. Yes, but I am certain that an action on negligence can be founded on this matter, and we are not going to, behave like we used to do. When our properties, our investment opportunities, our source of livelihood is destroyed by VRA, we just fold our arms.
The VRA claims it has spent 9 million Ghana cedis so far, and plans to spend over 20 million cedis on over 36,000 displaced victims. How much damage has been done? And what is the scope of this damage to buildings and other infrastructure along the Volta? Who is quantifying these, and what are the findings so far? By now, the nation should have a fair idea of the scope of damage done as well their cost implications. But, as it stands, now, it appears state agencies have no idea how much economic cost the nation would be confronted with when the water recedes.
The issue, first of all, what has happened now, there is no evidence that can create a serious case against VRA for negligence. There is consultation going on, and many citizens think that the proper thing to do is to first of all send VRA to court and get it to do, isn't that to treat duties? to compel it to perform its sensibility. That secondly, there's another school of thought that in addition to this, GRA must hold itself in readiness to pay adequate compensation for the losses and all those things that have happened. We do hope that in the clear face of this, they will not turn their back. But that is why I consider it a welcome development from what the finance minister has said, that they are going to budget certain locations in the next financial year to cater for the challenges that the spillage has caused. If that is the direction they are moving to, then it will assuage the pain and feeling of the Voltarians along the road of Rotterdam.
This is how I work when something happens. We first of all search and rescue. Then we do a rapid assessment. The rapid assessment gives us information about who has been affected, what are the immediate needs, and we try to provide these immediate needs to those who have been affected.
The government recently inaugurated a 13-member interministerial committee to oversee the handling of the disaster salvaging process. However, coordination between appointing authorities and stakeholders has been rather messy. The original press statement announcing the appointment of the committee had no Ministry of Health listed, despite being an important state agency in this crisis. Somehow, the presidency realized poor judgment, and it appears the Ministry of Health is currently playing an integral role in the committee.
The interministerial committee formed by the president is also in town. They just landed, and I'm going to meet with them. We may address the media, but for now, we want to see what is happening. And what I see this morning is the level is higher than I saw the last time. So I'm getting worried, because we're supposed to pass a certain road to the St. Kizito Park, but it was flooded. So we are coming to take the boat here. But the ministers have landed there, and I'm going to meet them, and then we think about what. All the committee members are here, the roads ministry, the health, energy. We are all here to see how we can put our heads together to address the concerns of the people.
Who are those on that committee, if you can share with us?
We got the ministries of health. There are health issues here. We have Minister of Roads and Highways, because we have road and bridge issues here. And then we have ministries of energy. We have problem with our transmission station there. The Minister of Energy is here. Minister of Information, Minister of Local Government. The assemblies are also involved in the relief exercise. So all the supporting ministries are here.
Contrary to the impression being created by the Volta regional minister, ministers of the three regions affected by the devastation, the Eastern, Volta and Greater Accra regions, are not part of the interministerial committee. The President of Ghana apparently does not think regional ministers overseeing the administration of these regions should be officially included on such an august committee. Incidentally, traditional authorities and community-based organizations such as the Mepe Development Organization are also complaining that they have not been properly engaged by the central government in the rebuilding effort.
Just this week Monday, the Assembly is putting together what we call a central committee to have a relief committee. That committee is yet to start effective work. On paper, it exists. In practical reality, not even a single rice or sachet of water has been placed. Now, why should it be so? Mepe Administration is the leadership that's responsible for bringing the entire Mepe community together, both home and abroad. We expect that we shall be engaged prior to the happening. So we have some preparedness to be able to handle all these excesses. The Minister of Environment made the world to believe that we've been told since January and May and June to evacuate, move. We refuse and allow ourselves to be consumed by this water. Look, how could that be? As we speak now, nothing has been released from the Assembly to neither Mepe Development Association nor Mepe National Council. The only thing for our records is that 650 sachet water was released.
With current global climate conditions and rainfall patterns, we shouldn't discount the possibility of VRA spilling the Akosombo Dam again soon. The last time the Volta Basin experienced such a devastating flood was around 1963, at the peak of the dam's construction. At the time, economic activities along the Volta River were minimal. Now, any further spillage of the dam can only trigger serious socio-economic costs. Are we preparing for this? As the sun sets over the affected communities, it illuminates a people determined to rise again. In the face of nature's wrath and political divisions, the people will rise and become stronger. Their story is one of resilience and the resolve to overcome, even when all odds are stacked against them. Going forward, there would be need for a comprehensive human and social impact assessment of the affected communities. The impact assessment should be able to evaluate the physical, emotional, and economic impact of the Akosombo Dam spillage, now and in the future.
What we in the law book that we in our canvassing for, it's for legislation to create a rural water basin development authority. Because we are virtually land orphans. The upper reaches of the dam are catered for, even though inefficient, by the VR. But as for the lower basin, nothing happens to us. Completely nothing happens. You have a copy of my memoir, read chapter 3. I addressed this matter adequately under the heading Down the Forgotten River. And you see the challenges. To give you a graphic picture, this was published in 2020, and UIB will, in this time, has happened in 2023. You see, we have slept on our rights for far too long. So VRA take things for granted. Can you imagine that at a certain point when we were putting pressure on the VRA to designate in their budget things that can promote development in the lower water base. They said that if they did that, it will mean putting additional burden on consumers by way of a hike in electricity tariffs.
Finally, the impact assessment must be able to analyze the economic losses incurred as well as design solutions that will avert such repercussions the next time the dam is spilled. This assessment should be independently led, but must involve government agencies, international agencies, NGOs, and community leaders should be involved to guide this process.